Hey there, my name is Miranda and welcome to another video. Today I'll be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag. I've been seeing it floating around on Booktube right now. I thought it was really fun and I thought I'd give it a try for my very first Booktube book tag. So I definitely haven't read nearly as many books as some of the people who've done this tag, but I definitely have read more than I had anticipated I would, and I still have read a lot of books that I really have enjoyed this year. I'm already having a much better year than I did last year. Alright, I got all my answers in my little notebook. There are 15 questions in total. Alright, so the very first question is the best book you've read so far this year. And I did have to think this question over a little bit because I thought for a bit my answer was going to be A Darker Shade of Magic. Then I thought it might be In Burn the Ashes. And then if I had managed to finish it before the video, it probably might end up being Vicious by V.E. Schwab as well. However, I finally settled on Summers at Castle Auburn by Sharon Shin because this book surprised me as well with how much I ended up loving it. I knew I was going to enjoy it, I just didn't anticipate I was going to love it as much as I have. I still think about this book, I still think about a lot that happened in this book. I really want to reread it. I would love to get my own copy at some point. I still have not done that. So yeah, that is my pick for the best book so far. Question 2 is the best sequel you've read so far this year. Again, had to think this one over. I haven't read as many sequels yet. I still have quite a few sequels I'm going to be reading this year. In fact, that's going to be quite a bit of the second half of this year for me. I'm going to be reading a lot of sequels and other books and series. But I finally settled on Fire Study by Maria V. Schneider because I really loved this book as much as I loved the first book, Poison Study. I started the Poison Study series back in December, at the very end of December. A friend of mine lent me the first 3 books, and I loved all 3 of them, but I have to admit that when it comes to sequels, I liked Fire Study more than Magic Study. I'm also currently actually reading Shadow Study, and I'm enjoying it even more. I'm finding the series is just getting better and better with each book I read. Third question is a new release that's come out, you haven't read it yet, but you want to. I have 2 answers for this. Most obvious is A Reaper at the Gate by Saba Tahir. I haven't quite finished Torch Against the Night, but what I have read so far, I'm really enjoying, and I'm super excited to read the 3rd book. The other one is Circe by Madeline Miller. This one came out a little while ago. I've never read Song of Achilles, and I have heard you don't need to read it in order to read Circe, but I really want to read both. However, Circe is definitely my most anticipated of the 2. Also, the book is kind of beautiful, so I really just want a copy in my possession. Question 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I have quite a list. Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, I haven't yet read Vicious, but already I know I'm gonna love it, so I'm already looking forward to the sequel. Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nigan? I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that. That book I'm really looking forward to. I kind of wish I had an arc of it because I don't really want to wait for it to come out. I want to read it now. Assassin's Guide to Love and Treason by Virginia Boker? Okay, I don't know if it's me not being able to read my own handwriting or if I'm just really bad at pronouncing names. And then of course the one I am the most excited about because I am a fangirl, and that is The Fall of Gondolin by J.R.R. Tolkien. I know technically created from his notes, but I am so excited for this book. I want everything he has ever written, and this book actually comes out around my birthday, so I want it even more. Actually, so does City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, and I really want that as well. So yeah, I do have quite a few books I'm looking forward to that are coming out in the second half of this year. Question number 5 is your biggest disappointment you have read. This one is a recent read, so it will be in my reading wrap-up for June, and that is Winter Song by S.J. Jones. I will be going more into depth about what kind of rating I gave this and what I just didn't like so much about it in my reading wrap-up, but it was definitely a massive disappointment for me. I had been anticipating this book for quite a while, and I just did not enjoy it. It was not what I was hoping for. I did not like a lot of what was in it. Therefore, it is my most disappointed read of this year so far. Almost shared with Shadow Queen, however this one went out because I was not anticipating Shadow Queen nearly as much as Winter Song. Question 6 is the book that has been the biggest surprise this year so far, and that is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. The biggest reason this was a surprise for me was I had heard a couple reviews that made me think I wasn't going to enjoy this book nearly as much as I was hoping I would. I did hear a couple that made me think I would at least like it to an extent, but I didn't think I was gonna love it as much as I ended up loving it. The writing was beautiful, the story setting was gorgeous, I loved the characterizations. It introduced something very new to the world of fairy that I hadn't quite read before. So while it wasn't a 5 out of 5 read for me, it was definitely one of the biggest surprises for me because I loved it way more than I had thought I would. It's also another book that I haven't quite stopped thinking about since I read it. Question number 7 is a new favorite author, either a debut or new to you. And for that I chose V.E. or Victoria Schwab. I have literally only read one book. I've only finished Shade of Magic. I have the second book in the series. I will be getting the third, and I do own Vicious. But from all the different story types that I've seen that she has, the one that's coming out, City of Ghosts, I've been following her Twitter and a lot of what she's talked about, what she's going to be working on, her works in progress. I've also had a quick look at the Savage Song, and I really liked what I saw. So she's an author I am so excited to read everything she has ever written. I am so excited for everything that is yet to come. So she is now currently one of my new favorite authors. Jessica Leek and Susan Dennard were close contenders. I'm loving the Witchland series by Susan Dennard right now, and I'm so excited that there's more. And Jessica Leek, I loved Beyond a Darkened Shore, and the other book she has coming out, I believe it's called Through the Winter Wood, or Through the White Wood, it's one of those two. And it will be having the characters from Beyond the Darkened Shore make a cameo. I'm super excited about that. But V.E. Schwab won by a bit more. Yeah, no, I'm just very excited to read Vicious. That might be why she won. Question number 8 is your newest fictional crush. I had a hard time thinking of answers for this, because no one really came to mind, so I had to think for quite a while. I had a hard time thinking of answers for this question. It just wasn't really something I thought of when I was reading most of these books. I really do like Valak, however, I technically first started the study series in December, but I'm going to count him in this because I really do kind of love him. He is amazing. Leaf, maybe? He was very cool. And then, surprise, surprise, because of my attraction to villainous characters, apparently, and I'm hoping I get his name pronunciation correct, because I'll be very sad if I don't. However, I'm pretty sure I've been mispronouncing it since I started reading. And that is Iduan. Iduan? He's the Blood Witch from the Witchland series. I like this guy's character. I think he's really complex. I think he's really interesting. I'm so excited that it looks like he's going to be in the series for quite a while. And I love the fact that he seems to be kind of like in a gray area. He's not entirely villainous, but he's definitely not good either. So yeah, like those are some potential answers. I really don't have a solid one for you. Question 9, I had an answer right at the top of my head, and then a second one that came right after. So this one was easier to answer, and that is a new favorite character. First answer was Lila Bard. I absolutely loved her in A Darker Shade of Magic, and I read the first little bit of A Gathering of Shadows, and I love her in it. The other one was Iduan, again, the Blood Witch. Because like I said, he's just a very morally gray character, and I like morally gray characters. And also, he is probably now one of my new favorite fantasy villains, because he still is technically kind of a villain. Sorry, Darkling, you've been pushed to the side before you even had a chance in the spotlight. Question number 10 was a book that made you cry. Again, this one was really hard because I haven't had many books that have made me cry. Unless you want to count the ones that made me cry tears of relief when I finally finished them, because they were awful. But those were all in 2017. The closest I could think of was An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir, because there was one scene that broke my heart so much I almost did start crying. And then of course the ending was just devastating. I'm a little nervous for Torch Against the Night and Reaper at the Gates. I've been hearing a few reviews of sobbing, and I'm a very emotional person. If other people are sobbing, what does that mean for me? But yeah, I haven't quite yet had a book that has started the waterworks entirely. Question 11 is a book that made you happy, and while I did not give this book a very high rating, it was still a book that put a big smile on my face as I was reading it, and that was Geekerella by Ashley Poston. I have a full review of this on my Goodreads, and again, I gave a little bit more of my feelings behind it in my reading wrap-up for last month, but despite the fact I did have a few problems with it, this book put a massive smile on my face. It just made me really happy and warm inside as I read it. It was just a really fun book, and I'm still recommending it to a lot of people if they just want a fun contemporary modern-day fairy tale retelling. It will put a massive smile on your face, especially if you are part of fandoms and geek culture. Question 12 is your favorite book-to-movie adaptation you've seen this year, and I haven't seen many. I almost said Solo, a Star Wars story, until I remembered that they probably didn't technically base it off the book, so I wasn't sure if that was a good answer. So I kind of had to Google what books-to-movie adaptations came out this year and just scroll through the list to see if there was any I had seen. And I found one. I actually watched Red Sparrow a couple months ago. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie, and apparently it is also a book. and the book is by Jason Matthews. I've never read the book. I might read it because I did really enjoy the movie. I thought it was very interesting, and I loved the ending. The ending was so cool. But yeah, so that is my answer. Even though I have never read the book, I did see the movie and I did like it, and I just really haven't seen any others. Yeah, no, most of the ones are either ones I'm just not interested in, I haven't seen the others before it, or I'm just waiting until it comes out on DVD. Question 13 is your favorite video you've done so far this year? Again, something that was kind of hard for me to think of because I really don't have many videos up on my channel just yet. I kind of thought maybe my first Fairy Loot video, because even though the video quality really isn't that great, it was my very first Fairy Loot, and that is very special to me. And then I thought maybe one of my travel vlogs. I kind of really liked the recent one I posted of Dayon, especially since I have now all those memories of my time there, because I had a great time in Greece. So because I really don't have a lot of videos, I don't quite have an answer for this one. Maybe next year, maybe. Question 14 is the most beautiful book you've bought or received this year. I almost went with the most recent Fairy Loot book because black sprayed edges and white hardcover, that is pretty nice. Until I remembered I owned The Wicked Cometh. I'm not even ashamed to say that this is almost entirely a cover buy. It is so pretty. I haven't even read it yet, and I just love it because of the cover. I am excited to read it though because it sounds like a great dark old historical thriller. Also, it says right on it it's a novel of darkest London. Like, that intrigues me. That intrigues me so much. So yeah, no, that is definitely the most beautiful I have that I bought. I could have maybe gone with Vicious as well because I'm kind of in love with the dust jacket. But Wicked Cometh, I think, wins a little more because that one was just an outright cover buy. And then question 15, the final question is, what books do you have to finish this year, before the end of this year? Oh dear. I have quite a list. A lot of them are B.E. Schwab books. I want to finish a lot of what she has. I want to finish the Shades of Magic trilogy. I want to finish the Monsters of Verity duology, so the one that's the Savage Song and Our Dark Duet. Vicious, Vengeful, City of Ghosts if I can get my hands on it. I'm even considering reading the Archives because I just really want to read everything she's ever written. Of course, I want to finish the current books in the Ember and the Ashes quartet. I'm planning on doing a reread and finish of the Inheritance cycle because while I've read the first 2 books, I no longer remember them, and I really want to finish the 4 books of that series. For those of you who don't remember that series, it is the series with the first book, Aragon, and it is by Christopher Paolini. Yeah, all my copies are back home, so I'm planning on reading it while I'm visiting. I really want to get to Children of Blood and Bone because I've heard amazing things about it, so I really want to read it before the end of the year. I still want to read Byrne and Luthien by J.R.R. Tolkien. I want to read Fall of Gondolin when it comes out. I want to see if I can finish the Study series. I want to see if I can finish the Fallen Kingdom series. See if I can finish the other book in the Witchland series. So I just have a really massive list of books I want to finish. How many of them I actually get to has yet to be seen. I already have a feeling that the ones I will probably not fully finish are some of the longer series. Oh, and I also really want to read Book Thief because, again, I've been hearing great things and I still haven't read it, and I've owned a copy for about 5 or 6 years. Actually, no, even longer than that. Pretty sure I bought that in high school, and that was quite a while ago. So yeah, that is my mid-year book Freakout tag. Those are all of my answers. So yeah, while I definitely haven't read nearly as many books as a lot of other people who've done this tag, I have definitely read some books I absolutely loved, a few books I was okay with, and a couple that probably were not my favorite. Needless to say, I'm looking forward to all the rest of the books I read this year, and I think the biggest reason I'm most excited is ever since I started watching Booktube videos, I've been introduced to even more books that I can read and that I'm interested in and that I'm excited for. Yeah, no, watching videos where people will show what they've read and they will talk a bit about it is definitely working better for me than just randomly showing up in a bookstore and browsing for a few too many hours. It does still work, but not as much as it used to. I mean, I never would have been introduced to V.E. Schwab if I hadn't started watching Booktube videos. Ember and the Ashes I would have eventually found out about because a friend of mine had bought a copy and she was reading it. Children of Blood and Bone, maybe? But there's definitely a lot of books that I've read that I never would have considered if I hadn't started watching those videos, and I'm kind of thankful I did. I'm definitely looking forward to more recommendations in the future. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please click that like button down below. And if you want to see more videos by me, both bookish and travel related, please click that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. Bye!